Hello and welcome to the TA UK Peer-to-Peer podcast. I'm very lucky today to be joined by the one and only Dan Brownhill. Dan, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So for those who haven't seen your videos online, haven't seen you on social media, who are you, what you're about, how long have you been an estate agent for?
Where have they been? If they haven't
I know,
seen me?
what have they been doing?
I don't know, living in a cave somewhere. My background, 20 years in a estate agency, started in January 2004, countrywide, a couple of independents, and I started at the agency in July last year.
What was the deciding factor between you jumping from being in the employed world through to being self-employed? Was there only one thing that happened, or was it a gradual build up over time?
I think for me it was a build up over time. I've always had a real passion and desire to sort of run my own business. I had explored it several years ago about opening up in my local town, village, Poynton in Cheshire. It never happened. And obviously the self-employed world has become bigger and bigger since COVID. And I had a real interest in it. And as I said, a passion of doing it myself. And I thought this was a great platform for me to sort of launch my own business. That was my journey into it, really.
I always find that people have, if you've got a need and a want to be self-employed and have your own business, that's not going away. And you've got two options. Either
Correct.
you do it and you act on it and you get it going, or you have on your deathbed and think, I should have been the estate agent when I was 30.
Yeah. I always had this, probably for about 2 or 3 years now, this itch that it just wouldn't go away. And obviously more and more self-employed agents were coming in a little bit closer to Poynton. And I just thought, if I don't do it now, I'll probably never do it. I sat down with my sort of family and my wife and I said, look, this is what I really want to do. And my wife said, it's a great idea. You'd be absolutely fantastic at it. Spoke to my, obviously, close family, and they just said, you've got our 100% support. And I think without their green light to do it, I probably wouldn't have done it. But it gives you the confidence to go, if they believe in me, let's just do it. Let's go for it.
How important is it to have that support and sort of backing behind the scenes of your friends, family, to go, Dan, we believe in you?
It's a massive support. I'm quite an impatient person, whereas my wife is very calming. So when I've had a bad day or I've been out sort of doing all my videos or my comp slips and knocking on doors and things, and you get nothing from it, it can be... It's like, you sort of get a bit fed up and things, because it's hard work. It's hard graft. You've gone from being branch managers or directors where you've got other people making those phone calls or knocking on those doors or doing those videos to you've actually got to do it. You've got to be a master of all trades. You've got to be everything. You've got to be spinning lots of plates. So to have that, I suppose, calmness at home that Sally provides to me is as you said, it gives you that confidence to go out and just keep going and going and going.
So most people who know you will know you from social media. Is that fair to say?
I wouldn't say I'm anywhere near an influencer or something, but yes, I am prevalent on Facebook and LinkedIn. I try and do I aim to do a video at least once a week.
So what made you make that decision to go, I'm going to go both feet into social media, I'm going to put myself on camera, and away we go?
Yeah. So it's... I think a lot of people, they don't like how they sound. They don't like how they look. My hair's a mess. And I've done videos quite a lot. When I first started, it was welcome to Acacia Avenue. And every other word was but I did it and I just kept doing it. And when I launched my business, I didn't just go into it. I thought, well, people need to know who I am. So my iPhone 11 wrote a bit of a script. My family came out with me and we did a video introducing myself into Poynton about what I was doing, what I could offer, what might be different. And please follow me all on my social sites. We filmed it at several different locations in Poynton, edited it all together and literally posted it into obviously my own page and probably about 5 or 6 other local Facebook groups, which I think reaches about 45,000 people. And I just thought, put it out there and see what response I got. And it's sort of grown from there, really.
So lots of people will look to launch their own estate agency business and they'll go, I don't want to make a big song and dance about this. And I don't want to put anything online on my social media, do a video, anything like that at all, in case it goes wrong. I don't want to look stupid. So I don't want to put myself out there in case that I have to backtrack in 6 weeks' time and it all closes down. What would you say to those people watching or listening to this who are in that situation?
As I said before, I did the video with my wife and my 2 kids and we had really good fun making it. And at the end of the day, from making it, we've actually, at the beginning of last year and into January, I had about 4 or 5 blooper reels, and I put those on there. And I did one with my daughter when we did meeting Santa Claus in Poynton, doing a transition of jumping up on one street, landing on another. And we did a blooper reel with myself and Maisie. It actually got really good traction. And if you mess it up, do it again. And there's one clip. It's quite funny when you look back at it now. Myself and my wife were actually having an argument. And it got really good traction. So I think done beats perfect. Just don't worry about it. Don't take yourself too seriously, especially when you're doing a video. You don't want all the bells and whistles. I want it to come across as, this is me, this is Dan, this is who I am. And when you do a lot more videos and people see you, when people invite you out to do valuations, they feel like they already know you because they've seen you on videos. I did a video last week, myself and Maisie, for February half term at the local petting farm. I walked into the farmyard, and the woman says, "I know you. You're the guy that jumps up and down around Poynton." And I said, "Oh, right, okay, great. Well, I'm here to do a video about your petting farm. Is that all right?" And off the back of that, I valued a farmhouse and 2 houses in Park Lane. So potentially there's 3 instructions, whether that's next week or next year. They won't go anywhere else. So, yeah.
So how much of your business model going forward with regards to your lead generation side is based around video and video content? Because I know I'm sure you don't get a direct return from it. It's not like every video I post to get a market appraisal. It's probably I invest in videos for a certain period of time and people will get to know me better and that will help my other marketing, or do you find you get stuff directly from it?
I didn't get stuff at the beginning. I've only just started getting, as I said, that lady noticed me. So I've done all these videos and you don't know who's watching you. You know, I think some people can get really het up about, oh, I've only had 13 views, I've only had 2 likes, but people will still watch it and people will still see it. So it's just something that you've got to keep going. You've got to be consistently boring and it will start growing organically. And it, as I said, I've done 7-8 months into it and now it just feels like these videos are paying off. I've got content now. I'm doing my top 50 streets of Poynton. That's a year's worth of content. You stand outside a street. The hardest thing is doing all the research for it to work out average price, how many houses, the last one to sell. But literally to go and stand in front of a street in a house on your tripod to film it takes about 40 seconds. So it doesn't take that long to do.
What about people watching this and they go, I'm just about to launch my estate agency business and I'd love to do loads of videos about a house I've just sold and I've got these buyers looking around the corner, but I haven't got that content to go out with. What would you say and recommend those people to talk about effectively to get their message out there? Yeah,
so when I started my business, I had a lot of time on my hands. The phone does not ring. So it's like, right, what do we do from here? Let's get into the video. So you could, I didn't start posting about properties I sold. I started getting out. I did a video last July. So there's a carnival in Hazel Grove. It's quite a big event. It's the next town from me, about 5 minutes away. It's a huge park at Torkington Park. I made a bit of a script and it's a case of, my wife sort of videoed me. I'm walking towards the camera. It's just an iPhone 11. And I talk about, so coming up this weekend is Hazel Grove Carnival. This is when it is. This is where it's going. And I posted it into the local Facebook groups. I tagged the carnival into it. And then off the back of that, the organizer said, Dan, I love your video. Will you do one for Poynton Show? And if anybody doesn't know Poynton Show, it's one of the largest agricultural shows in the Northwest. It attracts about 10,000 people over the August bank holiday. So he asked me to do a video from that. So it just grew from there. I've done one about Bramhall Circus, the local beer festival, which is very popular. Love a bit of beer, so which is good. And then after that, I thought, well, and then I joined a local networking event. And then from that's at the local ice cream shop in Poynton. And I approached Joe to say, what I'd like to do is do an interview about what you love about Poynton. And then off the back of that, I've been approached by the local travel agency. They've asked me to do a video, which I did last year. I've interviewed a clothes shop. I did the bakery, a bakery in Poynton that posted on Friday. And that's actually probably the most popular video so far that's had loads of comments about it. So it's just a case of you keep posting these videos into all these local Facebook groups. Hopefully, eventually, they'll come back and go, who's that bloody estate agent I keep seeing on in all these Poynton Facebook groups? Oh, Dan Brownell. So
is that the long-term strategy? Because if I was being really cynical, I would go, Dan's done a video with a travel agent, for example. Yeah. What the hell has that got to do with me selling my 3-bedroom, semi-detached house in Poynton, for example?
Hasn't got anything to do with selling a house. There's no point in, sometimes you see all these agents all over social media. Oh, I've sold this and I've sold that, and how good am I? I'm sorry, I don't think that's relevant to the general public. If you can see as though you want to be the community estate agent, you want to. I just think you need to be out there, not showing what you've sold and what you've exchanged on and how much money you've earned. I think it's all about giving back to the community. It's about that book, isn't it? Jab, 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 right hook. So give, then you take it. So I'm giving. And if I can have a valuation off the back of a video I did 12 months ago, it's worked.
So do you ever ask for anything on it? So are you just a constant jabber on the hope that one day they'll pick up the phone and go, I've seen your videos online, or I recognise you in the street, can I have a market appraisal? Or do you ever say, I'm that guy, call me out?
No, I don't ask for anything on my out and about. Let's talk to Chris, the local ice cream shop owner, or Dave, who runs the DIY store. I do my monthly marketing update videos. So I ask for business off the back of that. If you're thinking of moving or you know anybody that is, that's when I generally ask for something, and I literally just put my Linktree account on there. So that's the only time I actually ask for any business. But at those videos are just all about giving. My top 50 streets is again about property. So that sort of works quite well with the out and about talking to the local coffee shop people.
And what feedback do you get for the top 50 streets? Because if I was number 2 and I thought number 1 wasn't a better street, I'd be straight on that comment section saying my road is better than this road, their road's rubbish. Do you get a lot of negative comments on there at all?
I'm only at number 44.
Okay, a lot of way to go there.
I had one comment at number 46 where some lady said, why are you advertising the most popular streets in Poynton? You can open it up to like burglars and things like that. So my comment was, thank you so much for your comments. I'm just doing it as a local source of information. All the information that I provided is open. But if anybody approached me, as I said before, the hardest and the long part of it is actually finding out the information about, you have to look at all the data, the land registry, the sold prices. So yeah, if you're at number 2, you're at number 1, let's have a conversation about it. Let me come around, have a look at your property. So you could spin it, I suppose, and potentially try and get a valuation off the back of it.
So we've got social media, we're knocking out the park by the sounds of it. We've got a really solid footing there.
Yeah.
What else is bringing you instructions into your business on a daily, regular basis that is more of the here and now rather than the hopefully down the line, someone will watch this video and recognise my face effectively? What's the immediate stuff?
A lot of my business comes from recommendations. Today, I've had 2 recommendations where I've booked in valuations today. So it's just off the back of, one was from a local networking group. She's recommended her sister to me. And one of my friends have just sold her property this weekend, and she's recommended her sister to myself. So at the moment, a lot of my business, well, the majority of my business in the last couple of weeks has been from recommendations. I get I've had a good response from comp slips, or writing to people with a tea bag in it and a Kit Kat, which I got off Tom Constable. I've had my 3rd instruction off the back of that. One person called me yesterday, but I've been nurturing him probably since the end of July. He's had, I think, 3 or 4 letters and comp slips from me in the past and a board knock. And he rang me yesterday and said, you've obviously been contacting me. So I've had quite a bit of good response from a comp slip and a sort of tea bag and Kit Kat.
So talk to me about this Kit Kat and tea bag. What on earth is going on there?
Yeah, so I've researched Rightmove, and I look at what properties I'd like to list. So I chose 10 properties, but I think before that, I think if any person is starting new, there's certain data that you have to have that will make your life easier. So Google Chrome extensions, I love those. So property investigation tool, PATMA, Property Insights, that gives you all the data of a property from when it was listed, when it changes its price, if it comes back on the market. It also pulls through the energy performance certificate. So it's a lot easier to, if there's no board, damn, what's the house number? You can find that information. So I will literally write on a comp slip to say, I noticed that you've been selling your home since the 3rd of June. You adjusted the price on the 17th of April. How's that going? I'd love to have a chat with you over a cup of tea. So I put a Kit Kat in there and a tea bag in an envelope. And then literally go to the house and knock on the door. If they're not there, I post it through, put it on my Excel spreadsheet. And I've had 3 instructions off the back of it and a phone call yesterday from my tea bags and Kit Kat approach. And I think it works well.
And if they are in and they open the front door, you say, I've just bought you a tea bag and a Kit Kat. Do you want to chat about your house? What's the line there?
No, I just sort of knock out. So thank you for taking my call. I introduce myself, tell them who I am. I just say, I'm sorry to disturb you. I was going to just drop this off just to see if I can help you. Not sort of, I don't want to say help you sell your property. I think it's a case of opening up that conversation to say, I noticed you've been on the market since the 3rd of June, just seeing how your property search is going. And then generally most people are, I think people have a fear of knocking on someone's door, but I've never been told to get lost or go away. I door knocked somebody a couple of months ago and they invited me into the house. And it's just quite weird how open people are, especially if they haven't sold their property and it's had 2 or 3 price reductions or it's fallen through on a couple of occasions. They're frustrated. They're motivated sellers. That's the low-hanging fruit. So most people are quite open to have that conversation with you. And people that have approached me, so I think that's a really impressive approach. Nobody's, you've got to sort of look outside the box. You've got to be that purple cow, haven't you? You've got to stand out from the competition, and a tea bag and Kit Kat approach certainly makes you stand out from the competition.
So in your business, you've got the long-term goal of sort of the social media stuff, which is going to hopefully deliver stuff in some immediate, but probably mostly down the line. And you've got the short-term stuff, which is primarily the door knocking and the letter side of things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So going back here, if you went back to when you first launched your business, what would you change from then?
Patience. You've got to keep doing it and keep turning up. Self-motivation. You've just got to pick yourself up. If you've had a bad day, you've just got to keep going. My family drive me. They're my main motivation in life. They're my passion in life. Helping people. I just love helping people, sell their biggest asset. So it's just a case of be patient, follow the process. And as I said, I'm sort of 7-8 months into it now. I feel like it's only just starting to sort of grow and sprout roots and things. As I said, it's hard work, but if you put the hard work in and you put that graft in, follow that process, it should start growing.
You mentioned earlier that you've got a lot of business and a couple today from a recommendation.
Yeah.
Do you proactively ask for recommendations, or are you quite laid back on that?
No, if I do a good job, whether it's on a viewing or especially on an exchange completion, I will ask for Google reviews, and then once I get that Google review in, I will post it on my social media channels. I haven't had a huge amount of traction on Google reviews. I've had 9 so far, which isn't bad. But yeah, if you put a recommendation on it, I think you should shout about it and go, do you know what? I've done a bloody good job there helping Chris move. Let's tell people about it.
Do you think the problem in some situations is that estate agents they're slow to ask for a review and they're slow to ask for a recommendation because they've got somewhat of a fear that they'll go, oh yeah, I'll give you a review and give you a 1-star review. Or they'll go, no, I'm not going to recommend you. Do you reckon people are hesitant because they're worried about that?
Possibly. I think people, that's that fear of rejection, isn't it? It's that no, but I think no stands for next opportunity, doesn't it, in my eyes? And I think you just got to be persistent and keep asking. I've sent out 3 Google reviews a week ago. If I don't get any response, I'll follow up and go, well, hi Chris, you moved into 10 Puffin Avenue last week. How's it getting on? Would you be so kind when you've got a minute to leave that Google review you promised me? So I think ask for the business, ask for that Google review.
So Dan, you mentioned obviously that you're getting a large amount of your business from reviews.
Yes.
And I think that leads back to providing a brilliant customer service for who are on the market and selling with yourself at the moment. Now you carry quite a large stock load at any one time. How do you stay on top of those people to make sure they get the best customer experience possible?
Yeah, so I'm at 19 listings so far, and it is a little bit spinning quite a few plates. But I always set aside time to make sure that I speak to my vendors at least once a week. I am just taking a phone call from here today. I will go and see I would say probably go and see 90% of my sellers and go and sit down and have a chat with them. I went to see Patricia and Alan yesterday. Nice cup of tea, shortbread biscuits, loving that. And we had a conversation for 2 hours. But I'm not stressing thinking, oh my God, I've got to get to my next appointment. I've got targets, I've got this to hit. And we had a nice conversation. And if I can't go and see them, if it's a divorce or the house is empty, I have some software called ScreenPal. So I will literally video myself and they can see my screen. And I put that into the WhatsApp group saying, quick marketing update for you. If you speak to somebody about Rightmove stats, it's what the hell are you talking about? But if you can show them on a screen and show them how their property's performing, I always make sure that I will at least post that into it.
Excellent. I love a screen recording, love a video.
Love that.
Man after my own heart.
Yeah.
So at what stage, obviously you've been with the agency UK now for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
coming up a year or so, must be not far.
Just under 8 months, yeah.
Yep. So at what stage did you think you'd made the right decision with the agency UK? Because there obviously were other options available.
Yeah, as I said, I looked at about 5 different models. I spoke to 3 of them. I discarded one straight away within 10 minutes of them talking to me. Just knew it wasn't for me. And then I narrowed it down to 2. I did speak to one agent a couple of times. I had a Zoom meeting with them. There was 2 of them, and I just felt, well, I didn't have anything to sort of compare it to. Then I spoke to Steph, and it was literally like chalk and cheese. I think it was Steph's enthusiasm, her drive, her passion about bringing in the right agents and not the most agents. And when, as I said, when I did my onboarding, the level of experience, I thought I was experienced for 20 years. There were people there with 22, 25, 30 years experience, and just how valued you felt, how sort of warm they came across. I mean, I left the high street, I joined the business last July, but I actually didn't meet anybody face to face till 2-3 months later at a conference in Solihull, when the first time I met Steph and Tom and Nick and all these other great people. But I just felt that confident that I just wanted to make that jump and join the agency. Compared to the other model that I spoke to, I just thought I felt like a bit of a number there. And I just thought, it's not for me. And I was literally instantly drawn to the warmth and the open arms that the agency offer you.
And how did the other agency take it when you said you were going to go with the agency UK?
Not well. So they didn't say, congratulations for making the leap from high street to the self-employed role. I wish you all the best. Any issues, come back to me. It was a bit like, oh, I can't remember the exact text, but I don't know, something along the lines of, why would you choose that model over our model? Because we offer all these extra things. And that cemented it. Well, I've made the right choice, haven't I?
Yeah. True words.
Yeah.
Dan, thank you so much for making time today. It's been very good. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, Chris.